Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Ma'at hotep. Namaste or namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. My name is Vicki Dillard, and I'm a very proud contributor right here on FlyNubianQueenTV.com and Your Black World, the network for melanated women just like you, and the home for intelligent Black people. Somebody say intelligent Black people. We're so thankful that you've joined us today, family. We have much to discuss in the way of important Black business. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you come in, family, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into our topic today. As you come in, please come in giving us the thumbs up, thumbs up. Be sure to like, be sure to share. So very important that you do this. When you do this, you permit other folk to know that we are here. You allow them to come into our broadcast today. Thank you so much for doing that. Also, we want you to know that you can text the word Queens to 31996 so that you're able to receive phone notifications when we go live from time to time. I'm trying to get my little setup here for the Your Black World family. Try to get it together. Thank you for your patience while I try to do this. All right. So thank you so much, family, for joining us today. Now, listen, how many of you all have been keeping up with the McMichaels? Gregory, who's 64, and Travis McMichael. These are race soldiers. These are terrorists. These are cold-blooded murderers in America that slaughtered the blood unjustly, openly, a lynching. Ahmaud Arbery. Remember to say his name. Shout out to you, Noah Six, for your gift. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. We are very aware of that. On the Vicky Show, we have certainly been discussing it for quite some time. We are not surprised, however, because this has been how America conducts her war. Somebody say we're at war. I say that a lot, and there are different types of wars. There are different types of battles that this country is engaged in. But nevertheless, it's meant to diminish, to destroy, to prevent and frustrate the growth and the power of the Black man and the Black woman. Shout out to you, Terry, for your gift on Your Black World. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. Thank each and every one of you for supporting Black media. Watch this. Thumbs up, family. Listen. If you do not believe that we're at war, if you do not concede the fact that we are at war, this is going to cause a lot of problems for you. If you don't address, if you don't acknowledge, if you don't acquiesce to the fact that we are at war, you will continue to behave otherwise, and our people will suffer for it. Now watch this. Your slowness to acknowledge the reality that Black folk are at war. We've been engaged in a near 500 century. We've been engaged in a near 500 century war. Your slowness to get the right answer on that is what's helping us to get killed. Somebody talk Black to me. Did y'all hear what I just said? You taking a long time to acknowledge that reality and get with the program is costing us lives. Now, in war, you expect, sadly, to lose casualties, to lose soldiers. But the goal is always to diminish or to mitigate the loss of life. And if you don't want to acknowledge that we are at war, beloved, you are putting us behind. Your ignorance, the way you see the world, and more importantly, the way you move in the world, is what's causing us to lose. Somebody on Your Black World says that there is a delay in the video. I hope not. Those that's on Your Black World, let me know if that's the case or not. I decided at the last minute to go ahead and go simulcast on both networks. So family, someone else on Your Black World, let me know if that's true. If not, make sure that you check your own device, refresh your own device, because that could be the case. Now listen. Why am I making that point? No, everybody said, okay, everybody else says they're good. Awesome. Listen, why am I emphasizing that? I'm emphasizing that because if we're on a battlefield, we're behind enemy lines. If we are at war with white supremacist America, then that means that the soldiers, that the military arm of this racist white supremacist nation is behaving as an enemy. Somebody talk black to me. Somebody talk black to me. Is that right? If you are acknowledging that we're at war, Minister Louis Farrakhan says something that's so powerful. He often says this: business is warfare. You all have heard of a such thing as culture wars, right? You all have heard folk related to media say a war of words. Somebody talk black to me. You've heard those from the White House and politicians talking about a war on drugs, which if you follow the Vicky Show on a regular basis, we gave you the specific White House aide that acknowledged the fact that the White House specifically said that it's a war on black folk, but they chose to use the word war on drugs as a covert means of executing what was really a war on black people. Somebody talk black to me. You all are aware of the BIE program that your FBI agency in recent history, how many of y'all remember, I believe it was August of 2017, when an FBI report was leaked that they were what? Surveillancing black folk and organizations again. Your government in your day, which we know they have a habit of doing this. Most of us are familiar with what's known as what? COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO is short for Counterintelligence Program. That's your FBI agency. What is the FBI? Federal Bureau of Investigations is one of the most what? Powerful and well-known investigatory agencies on the planet. Is that right, Black family? Thank you, Taleen, for putting that link in for Black Identity Extremist. Your government was sneaking, surveillancing, prepping to target free-thinking black folk again. We know that in COINTELPRO, they made it very clear. What did J. Edgar Hoover, a member of America's LBGT, the most highly visible and the most powerful, arguably, LBGTQ member on the planet, in America rather, what did he say? That their goal was concerning this COINTELPRO program. It was, he said, his words, not mine, to prevent the rise, talking in the context of black folk, of a black Messiah. Who said it, family? Was it a bishop? Was it a priest? Was it an imam? Was it a deacon? Was it some other spiritual leader? Was it a witch? What is it, a warlock? said, the former director for many decades of the FBI said that it was the express goal of the United States of America to prevent the rise of a black messiah. I told you that they did what appears to be a more recent, sneaky, covert, clandestine version of that. In what year did I say? Did I say in 1664? Did I say in 1776? Did I say in 1555? Did I say in 1965? No, I said in what? 2017. Why am I mentioning that? Because America, in recent history, has made it very clear that they are at war. And she didn't just make it clear what the low-level cave version of the white supremacists, like the McMichaels here. Like the McMichaels here. No, beloved. I just told you that these things were expressed from the highest levels of government, from the very top of the White House, the FBI, and we understand what? That other local agencies are on code. Did you all know that that document that was leaked in 2017 that's called the Black Identity Extremist, that when they refer to us as Black Identity Extremism, an extremist, did you all know that that document was sent to tens of thousands of law enforcement agencies around the country before it was leaked? Did you all know that? That means that the state officials and local officials are on code and very aware of what their unified goals and aims were. Now, why am I saying that? Because now the intelligent Black people have acknowledged that we are at war. Therefore, those who come against us, who assault us, who oppress us, who target us, are behaving as what, family? As enemy soldiers, enemy combatants. Is that right, family? Keeping that in mind, never losing sight of the context in which Black folk are in. We're on enemy lines. We are on a battlefield. So that means we cannot treat our open enemy like they are us. Shout out to you, Eric, for your gift. He says, you're speaking truth, Queen. Bless you. Bless your health, Queen. I would love to book you for a seminar. Well, let me know. Reach out to us at my website. Our moderators will put my website in the chat. Thank you, beloved. Trummel Nichols, thank you for your gift. I bless it 1,000-fold. Listen, don't forget that important context. So that means we don't act like that the playing field is leveled for us. Did you hear what I said? We do not behave on a battlefield with an enemy who has a near 5-century head start. We do not pretend like we are on a level playing field. They've had an advantage for not years, single years, not decades merely, but for hundreds, for centuries, for nearly half a millennia. Somebody talk Black to me. So this article that I'm reading from today from Channel 3000, there are several other articles that are out there as well. Of course, you might be familiar with this. Told us a few days ago about the McMichaels. Men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery thought he was a burglary suspect, but no burglaries were reported in the month before the shooting. Even that headline is a bit deceiving because that headline says men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery thought he was a burglary suspect. But no burglaries were reported in the month before the shooting. Now you got to ask yourself, what kind of headline is that? I'm talking to what kind of people am I talking to? I'm talking to intelligent Black people, hopefully. Is that right, family? Or those that desire to be intelligent? On the count of 3, let me take a moment. For those of you that haven't, give us a thumbs up, would you? And hit that notification button. 1, 2, 3, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yes, we talked about that's another level of battle. What is a war of words? Dealing with media, right? And we understand that propaganda is also a weapon in dealing with war. Propaganda is about information. Propaganda is sometimes misinformation, it's lies, but sometimes propaganda is truth that can be manipulated. That's meant to manipulate public opinion for some nefarious reason. I need somebody Black to talk Black to me. Sometimes propaganda is some truth. Propaganda prevails when those that is intended to oppress or destroy begin to take on those talking points. Lord have mercy. I'll get back to that later, perhaps. 1, 2, 3, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And please make sure you hit the notification bell and make sure that you are subscribed. Listen. The title that this article from channel3000.com, they said men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery thought he was a burglary suspect, but no burglaries were reported in the month before the shooting. Now you got to ask yourself, wait a minute, why would they say they thought he was a burglary suspect? But then this article goes on to say that, but no burglaries were reported in the month before the shooting. Who cares if there was no burglaries reported within the month before the shooting? If you think that someone in the moment is what? A burglar, why would you insert that particular sentence, but no burglaries were reported in the month before the shooting? Well, we're going to find out. The 2 men, the article says, arrested Thursday evening in the fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery, told police they believed he was a suspect in a series of break-ins. Are y'all hearing me? Somebody say the devil is a liar. I need somebody Black to say with me that the devil is a liar. It says, but no such string of crimes was reported in the weeks preceding the shooting. A police lieutenant told CNN. Who told that to CNN? A police lieutenant. Gregory McMichael, 64, and his son, 34-year-old Travis McMichael, faced charges of murder and aggravated assault in Arbery's death, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. Listen, they were arrested 2 days after a 30-second video that appears to show the deadly confrontation surfaced online, sparking outrage and calls for justice in South Georgia community. Now, I need you to understand something. Shout out to you, Victor, for your gift. It's blessed 1,000-fold. Listen, listen, listen. That's what I need you to understand. Shout out to you, BJ, incredible, as well as Lynn, for your gift. I just told you that one of the elements of warfare is propaganda, right? I also told you that propaganda, a lot of times it is lies, it is misinformation, but sometimes propaganda is actual facts and real information that they can manipulate to affect, to influence, to sway. What did I say? Public opinion. I need somebody Black to talk Black to me. Are y'all hearing me today? With that being said, we acknowledged on this show that war has been waged and is waged on Black folk right now. Is that right, family? We just also acknowledge that those that would attack and target us are soldiers, enemy combatants. Did we acknowledge that? Here are 2 examples. The McMichaels are soldiers, right? Of our open enemy. Not because black folks are sitting up here talking about let's go to war with white folks. It's because white folk has made it clear to us that they are at war with us, and they leave us no choice but to see them as they are. Shout out to you, a sincere Jen. Bless your gift 1,000-fold. So let's reread this headline with those things that I just said in mind. It says what? Men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery thought he was a burglary suspect. Now let's reread that. Enemy combatants thought Ahmaud Arbery was a burglary suspect. Our open enemy combatants claimed that Ahmaud Arbery was a burglary suspect. Somebody say the devil is still a liar. Are y'all with me today? Are y'all with me today? Watch this. Whether you are a religious person or not, whether you believe in the efficacy of Bible or any other holy book, is beside the point. There are still some gems in scripture that are applicable to any and everybody's life if you are reading and interpreting it properly. When you take on the interpretation of the Bible, when you take the interpretation of your open enemy of the Bible, then that's when you get in trouble. See, it's when your open enemy starts to tamper with divine intelligence. That's when you're in trouble. Shout out to you, Mel Bling, for your $50 gift. I bless it 1,000-fold. Shout out to you, Cloud, for your gift. I bless it 1,000-fold. Every one of you that's supporting Black media. Listen. John 8:44, the NIV version says, you belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. Watch this. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. I'm going to say that again. For there is no truth in him. How do we know that? Because we see the evidence of it for 500 years, right? There is no truth in him. Watch this. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. So when you're dealing with what the word of your open enemy, Lord have mercy. Thank you, Joseph. When you're dealing with the McMichael, Gregory McMichael, Travis McMichael said, you acknowledge that we are at war, right? You acknowledge that there are enemy combatants. They are those that you're fighting against. They are those that hate you. They are those that mean you no good. What in the world do we look like giving credence and not deciding immediately to thoroughly vet and examine what they say? Somebody say we're at war. What we look like. What do we look like? Receiving the word. Of those that's fighting against us. Those that are a part of the opposite team. And there's some of you that go around saying, well, they said they believed he was burglarizing. What we look like taking their word for something. When our black brother, another soldier, another casualty was slain. Why am I calling our brother soldier? Because I choose, unless black folks show me that they're a bone or biscuit, or unless I see other evidence contrary, I like to give my black family the benefit of the doubt to automatically call them a soldier. But if you looked at the footage of when our brother was slain, you saw what was he doing? He was fighting to the end, wasn't he? Even with that long rifle, he was trying to get it out of the hand of one of the McMichaels, the younger McMichael. And I believe that's another reason why. Because the father and them feared the power of the black man. Somebody talk black to me. It's a soldier. Watch this, listen. With all of that in mind, I had to go to the words from a book called The Art of Warfare. How many of you are familiar with that? I started thinking about some of the principles in the art of warfare. And I believe that there's some useful insight that we can glean from some of the principles in the art of warfare. Again, this is a space for intelligent Black people. So if words and reading bothers you, you're not going to get very far. So let me talk back to me. 1,100 plus of you in the chat on Fly Nubian Queen, and hundreds of you on Your Black World, and perhaps thousands of you later. Welcome to the Vicky Show. And also the Vicky Show on FlyNubianQueenTV.com is aired on other platforms. So if you're watching me elsewhere, wherever you're watching me, please give us a like, a share, comment. Again, look at the bottom of your screen. Hit the share button. You should see a place where you can copy the link and then share that link on all of your social media platforms. I don't care if you got 2 followers or 2,000 followers or 20,000 followers. You don't know who you may influence. That's how you expand and elevate the voice of Black media. Thumbs up, keep liking, sharing. 1,200 of you now. We're so pleased that you're with us today. The Vicky Show airs live typically on FlyNubianQueenTV.com weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. By the way, I'm drinking out of this little snazzy mug saying Fly Nubian Queen. You can get yours at shopfnq.com. That's shopfnq.com. Now, I need you to listen. In any war, there's got to be some intelligence, right? There's got to be a means of gaining intelligence so that you can have an advantage. And so that you can narrow your target and be successful in warfare, right? You got to know something. Somebody say, in warfare, you got to know something. So some of you funny looking people that says, well, these your platform, Vicky, you give a lot of information and stuff. And people going to just talk. Let me tell you a funny looking self. Black family, have we been doing what I'm doing right now for almost 500 years? No, nut. An intelligent and effective force has a blueprint, a strategy before they execute it. See, your action should be short and precise and effective. Shout out to you, 10, for your gift. But it's only short and effective and impactful when you've done the necessary work of intelligence, the necessary work of strategy. Some of you have just barely started to acknowledge that white folk don't even like you. This is new, what we're doing. What company, what business that you know of that exists that doesn't have regular board meetings? Somebody talk Black to me. How much of your business life is wrapped up in words and in emails and in what? Meetings. Shout out to you, Willie. Willie says, loving you, sister. Keep telling the truth. I love you back. Only an ignorant Black person would say something so silly. Now, if you're listening to low quality informers, when you're listening to ratchets and Cardi B types, then I can see your frustration with what they're giving you. But the information we give you here is what we call actionable information. Somebody say actionable information. That's why you can't run no business with your regular self. You ain't having good board meetings and stuff. You don't even know what kind of emails to send. Once you have an effective strategy, kind of person build a house without a blueprint and see when it fall tomorrow. Unless you're building a doghouse or something, chicken shack or something. Is that what it's called? Chicken coop. You probably don't need all of that detail. But when you're trying to engage in war with a formidable enemy that's had a 500-year advantage, and you got Black folk that's still cooning and being a butter biscuit for them, and we're still entrapped in the many white supremacist systems that exist, baby, our work and the way we approach it is not going to be like everybody else's. When we tell you to start building Black businesses, because Black businesses and having extra income is what's going to underwrite our own liberation. It's what's going to ensure that we're able to have our own Black schools, our own businesses, our own clinics. Somebody talk Black to me, and you can go to flynubianbusiness.com and learn from other Black folks. Somebody say that's actionable information. When we're telling you the movement of your open enemy and how they're engaged to work against you, we're giving you foreknowledge. We're giving you intelligence. Because you don't recognize that information is light and light is information. Because you don't recognize that that's actually a form of power. Because you don't enjoy reading. Lord have mercy. You don't contemplate. And you don't see how you can, and you don't think on how to integrate what you are reading and what you are absorbing, then you won't even recognize that the quality of the information that you are getting is actually a strategy. How many of you all know that America just did a hell of a job to miseducate Black folk? And notice they spent, for most of us, I'm 41 years of age. I'm from Mississippi. I went to Head Start. I went to elementary school. I had a middle school. I had a junior high and a high school. And guess what? That was about how many years of my life? Approximately 13 years of talking, of information, of instruction. Had some college too. But some of you all got your degrees, your BS degrees. Some of you call it master's degrees. Some of you got your PhD degrees. Some of you have spent upwards of what? 13 to easily 16 on average for some of you years of what? Education, information. And how many of you all know that when you become an expert like an engineer or like a doctor, when you are engaged and involved, shout out to you, Lizzie, for your gift. Shout out to you, Silent D Production, for your gift. When you are engaged and you are involved in any career that's worth its salt, how many of you all know that in order for you to maintain your edge and to be most effective for your particular clients, your particular customers, your particular patients, you continue in education and training? Is that right, family? So go sit your funny looking self down. Now again, if you're getting low quality information, then you need to reject that. Thumbs up, family. By the way, family, I'll be conducting my private VIP mastermind class. Got a couple more weeks left. We got room for a few more of you if you want to join in. Rock bottom price. That's when I talk about deep spirituality. The response, the feedback has been supernatural, preternatural. Go to clubvicky.com. Somebody put that in the chat, please. Clubvicky.com, clubvicky.com. Listen, 1,300 plus of you in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen. Back to the McMichaels, back to white supremacy, back to the fact that we're at war, back to the fact that they lied and said our brother, that they were concerned that he had burglarized the house. Now, let me tell you something. How many of you all know that there's a video that came out? Let me say this before I move further. How many of you all know that there was a video that came out and the video showed that he was walking around inside of a house that was under construction? Somebody say a house that was under construction. Context is key to everything. A house that was under construction. You can see the video and how the house was wide open, how it was being worked on. Watch this. Watch this. Facts are important. Shout out to you, Jacqueline. First of all, if you witness something, and you, Tanya, for your gift. First of all, if you witness what you believe to be a crime in action, you don't do what the McMichaels do and get in your car with your guns and go confront a black man and tell him to stop And when he recognizes that you are not a police officer, nobody is supposed to listen to a vigilante. See, some of you Negroes think that this black man, because your open enemy combatant said that your brother, they believed, was a burglary suspect. And where do we get that from? They said that it was reports of it going on in the neighborhood for some times. Well, this lieutenant came out and said, busted that up and said there was none of that going on until early, it was maybe I think it was early January. So that's a lie. They made up a lie. How many of you all know that in war, lies are a part of warfare? Somebody talk black to me. That's the work of spies. How many of you all know that deception, misinformation, lies are a part of warfare? Watch this. Listen. So here you have this brother where this video footage comes out. Not that any of that matters. Even if the video never came out, which I'm getting ready to address here quickly. The issue is not that you thought he was a burglary suspect. The issue was not the lie that they invented to cover the reason they murdered our brother in cold blood by saying, oh, there were reports that there were break-ins in their neighborhood. The issue is that even if all of that was true, you do not get in your car, get your weapons, and kill him. You don't get to order him around. You don't get to do that. Now, the video footage that came out that was given by the owner, in the first place, Ahmaud's father in an interview said that his mother lived in the neighborhood. That's her home is in that neighborhood. That's what his father said. I believe his name is Mr. Marcus Arbery. And even if he didn't live in the neighborhood, you don't get to tell black folks that we can't go in this place or that. Now, for those of you who said, well, he shouldn't have went up on that construction site, let me tell you something. How many of you all yourself have entered on a construction site that was wide open, windows wide open, things are under construction, and the brother did this during the wide open, the sun was shining, wasn't it? It was daylight. They showed the video of him, and he was in there for a short amount of time. And the time that he was in there, no felony and no crime had occurred. Is that right, family? Moreover, the owner said they had no problem. The owner didn't feel a need to call the police. And guess what else the owner said? The owner said other white passersby go in the property all the time. Somebody say facts matter. That's what the owner said. The owner said they had no problem. The owner didn't call the police. And the owner is the one that said that folk go in there all the time. So you know the McMichaels, those diabolical rodents that targeted our brother because they were in the neighborhood and because the white owner of the construction site said folks go in there all the time. You've got to know that they very likely saw plenty of their own go in and out of a property that they did not own. I need intelligent black folk to talk black to me. It was only because they felt, who does this Negro think he is to go in there? No felony had been committed. No crime had been committed on the inside of the property, meaning he didn't take anything. He didn't set nothing on fire, on and on and on. And the owner said they felt no need to call. The owner had camera access, and the owner said plenty of other folk, white folk, have gone in and out of their property, their construction site on a regular basis. Now that we've gotten those important facts out of the way, back to my original point. This came out of the mouth of an enemy. Shout out to you, Black Reality TV, for your gift. And some of us took the word of it. We legitimized it. And we treated it like we understood it. Somebody told Black to me. Now let me help you today. What we learn in the art of warfare, one of the principles, and since we're at war, it's important that I use, it's not, it's germane. It makes sense that I would use military language, right, family? You don't mind, do you? 1,400 plus of you in the chat. Welcome to the Vicky Show. We're so pleased that you are with us. Make sure that you like, that you share, that you subscribe. Go to flynubianbusiness.com if you're interested in starting a Black business and learning from Black people. That's flynubianbusiness.com. The link is in the chat. Listen. And also you can follow me on Instagram at Vicky X Dillard. Follow me on Instagram at Vicky X Dillard. And you can contact me with my little simple, humble website at MissVickyTV.com. That's Miss Vicky, MissVicki, MissVickyTV.com. Watch this. In the art of warfare, he talks about the use of spies. I want you to pay attention to a principle, right? It says a major military operation is a severe drain on the nation and may be kept up for years in the struggle for one day's victory. So to fail to know the conditions of opponents because of reluctance to give rewards for intelligence is extremely inhumane, uncharacteristic of a true military leader, uncharacteristic of an assistant of the government, and uncharacteristic of a victorious chief. Listen to this. This is the place for intelligent Black people, right? This is the home of intelligent Black people. So hang out with me. He says, so what enables an intelligent government and a wise military leadership to overcome others and achieve extraordinary accomplishments is foreknowledge. Somebody put foreknowledge in the chat, please. Shout out to you, Aaron, for your gift. Aaron says something so powerful. Aaron, may your gift be returned to you. May your gift be blessed 1,000-fold. Aaron said, the first casualty of war is the truth. Isn't that powerful and isn't that true? Watch this. Foreknowledge, he says, cannot be gotten from ghosts or spirits. I'm skipping. It must be obtained from people. People who know the conditions of an enemy. He goes on briefly here to talk about the 5 kinds of spies. The local spy, inside spy, the reverse spy, the dead spy, the living spy. He says, when the 5 kinds of spies are all active, no one knows their routes. This is called organizational genius, and it is valuable to the leadership. Now, I was studying this, family, about spies, about what a mole is, because they deal with intelligence. They get information. Is that right? They provide it to military leadership in order for us to have what? An advantage. We need to have what? Foreknowledge. Is that right? He says, whenever you want to attack an army, besiege a city, or kill a person, first you must know the identities of their defending generals, their associates, their visitors, their gatekeepers, and their chamberlains, so you have your spies find out. Watch this. It's essential for a leader to know about the 5 kinds of espionage, and this knowledge depends on reverse spies. So reverse spies must be treated well, he talks about. Only a brilliant ruler or wise general who can use the highly intelligent for espionage is sure of great success. Now, I wanted us to extract a principle discussing. We're talking about this in a military context, and I'm pulling principles from it, right? The importance of intelligence. Because we're at war, and if you believe the information that's coming from an open enemy like the McMichaels, who said that our black brother, Ahmaud Arbery, they believed him to be a burglary suspect. You're taking intelligence. You're taking information from your open enemy, and they are deliberately misdirecting you, and you will lose. My God, today. And you will lose when you take information, when you take the word of your open enemy, when you take the word of the global liar, the one that steals, kills, and destroys, you will lose. Period. Did you all hear what I just said? I want to say something to you that I was mulling over earlier today. 1,400 plus of you in the chat. Welcome to the Vicky Show. Thank you for coming in, giving us the thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you for liking and sharing. I said to you earlier, we're not on a level playing field with our open enemy, right? They're out to steal, kill, and destroy us, right? As intelligent as we are, we have not been able to mount a proper defense, meaning by building our what? Enough of our own what? Institutions. But that does not mean we're powerless. But it does mean that we need to get started even more. I want you to listen to this. Because information, because propaganda is an element of warfare, it's important that we, Black family, are on code. I was listening to Dr. Claude earlier today. Dr. Claude Anderson, if you all don't know who he is, make sure that you look him up and get his books. I've quoted from it plenty of times. I'm sure our moderators will very likely put his information in the chat. I was listening to some of the instructions of our brother today. He was live on Dr. Boyce Watkins' channel at, I think it's BoyceWatkinsTV.com, that he was on today. And one of the things that Dr. Claude Anderson was emphasizing and stressing was a code of conduct. An acceptable way that the Black collective must behave. Dr. Claude Anderson says there needs to be a code of conduct amongst us, meaning that he said, this is his words. He said, for example, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back, talking about your open enemy trying to destroy Black folks. Because Black folks, we take people hitting us upside the head. We take folks murdering us, breaking the law, violating our God-given rights and stuff, even if violating our God-given rights, our humanity, and we oftentimes do absolutely nothing about it. Shout out to you, Black Beauty, for your gift. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. Dr. Claude Anderson said there's not a code of conduct. When we discuss, at least from the Vicky Show, us being on code, when we talk about us saying the same thing, especially publicly, it's important that we are on code and that we're saying the same things about the things that matter, not about everything, but those things that matter while we're being gunned down and murdered and killed. We must say the same thing about the foundational things, about what matters, because us being on code, us saying the same thing about what matters is a warfare strategy. Did you all hear what I just said? Us abiding by the same thing in war. Shout out to you, Candace. See, some of you want to be free flowing with whatever you think, and you want to deviate from what the masses of Black folk are saying about those things that matter, because you just want to be out there to just do something or say something or whatever the situation is. And I'm thinking about what Dr. Claude said when he said about the code of conduct. It's important because that is in and of itself a warfare strategy. How many of you all know that there is a chain of command in the military? How many of you all know that when there is an order that's given that should be executed, and you're in the thick of the war, you're in the middle of the war, you don't have time for no little low-level soldier, some little cadet or what have you, to sit there and say, well, I don't want to shoot from that direction. You tell them to go this way, and you tell them, no, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, and you got one talk about, but now I don't think I want to. Fool, we're at war. When you at home, you get to do what you want to do. When it's outside of the context of war, you get to decide what you want to do on that. But for the sake of the Black collective, on those issues that really matter to our survival, us operating, like Dr. Claude said, based on a code of conduct is about our survival. I'm so glad that Dr. Boyce brought him on, because I was enjoying insight that he gave us. Dr. Claude reminded us again when he was talking today. Dr. Claude said that the black folk don't understand that we don't have any friends. Dr. Claude said everybody mistreats us. He said no one loves us. What was he saying? You were at war. One of our elders, deep within his 80s, reminding us, telling us that we're at war. Shout out to you, Renee Johnson, for your gift. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. Dr. Claude said, you're despised. Dr. Claude said, no one loves you. He said, you have no friends. He said, you're in a special class above any other people. Don't allow them to call you a minority. Don't allow you to put yourself in a category with anybody else. Why is he saying that to us? Why is Dr. Claude, who said that he's helped to run presidential elections and local political elections, he's had access to the most powerful folk. He's responsible for single-handedly putting certain Black folk on the bench. He's been in high-level positions in government. He understands the inner workings. He's been behind enemy lines in a way that we haven't. So what did he do? He took that intelligence. Did he not? He's giving it to us so that we can have the advantage. And he's letting us know, Dr. Claude, as an octogenarian, a man well into his 80s, that no one loves you. Everyone mistreats you. You're hated amongst all. You're despised. He's saying what Vicky says to you, but I'm saying it in my own way. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but we're at war. And he turned around and gave us what? Foreknowledge and intelligence so that we can win. Shout out to you, Roberta, for your gift. Roberta says, know your enemy. That's right. 1,500 plus of you in the chat. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Keep liking, keep sharing. Listen. I was watching. Let me tell you one of the things that inspired me to go ahead and do this. Of course, a couple of days ago, I posted about the lie that the McMichaels, these killers, these murderers, these race soldiers, these terrorists, these devils. I reported about the lie a couple of days ago on my Instagram page. I posted about it. And by the way, you can follow me on Instagram at Vicky X Dillard. Follow me on Instagram at Vicky X Dillard. But I decided today to actually talk about it because it's a reminder for Black folk We never treat the word of our open enemy as if it's something to believe and act on in the context of us being at war. Are you hearing me? I was disturbed by something, believe it or not, that Ahmaud's mother said in an interview, actually on The View the other day. Thumbs up, keep liking and sharing, dear family. My name is Vicki Dillard. I'm here weekdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're so pleased that you're with us today. Listen, I was listening to his dear mother. This is no shade on his mother. You all know I speak in much respect. Our prayers go for his family, condolences to his family. This is not a disrespect. I'm highlighting something that she said. Ahmaud's mother was asked when the police was telling you your son was dead and that the reason why he was murdered was because he was involved in a burglary. You know what she said? She said she had no reason. They asked her, did she believe the police? They asked her, did she believe the police? The police's excuse that they gave her as to why her son was murdered. You know what she said? She said, because they were police. She didn't feel a need to disbelieve the story that they gave her. That response from our sister is the reason I do, in part, the reason I do what I do. Shout out to you, Shimiya, for your gift. You said, teach, sister, teach. I love all Queen Soldier. Thank you, beloved. I bless your gift 1,000-fold. Listen. She said that because it was the police, she had no reason to disbelieve that they would lie to her. Black family, that dear sister is the very reason I do what I do. Why I continue to work endlessly to inform and inspire my people. That's the reason why some of you have heard, some of you know that the systems and institutions in this country is thoroughly corrupt. And that even if she had no reason to disbelieve them, at the very least, she should still not automatically take their word for it and just simply say, no, she wants to do her own investigation and continue to vet. Black family, that's very dangerous for any Black person in America to say, and she said it openly, the sister was sincere. We don't want to send any hate or negative words against this sister, but I'm highlighting a mindset. She said that because it was the police, she didn't see any reason to question or to disbelieve them. Do you all understand that the only reason why she could say that is because our sister doesn't recognize that we're at war and that those people that she was engaged in, we have to be very discerning. We have to be very sagacious. We have to be very intelligent in how we engage with the world because we're at war. Don't you know that if she truly believed that we were at war, don't you know that if she was educated about the inner workings of law enforcement, that there is no way that she would have said out loud that because they're the police, she had no reason to disbelieve them? Black family, that kind of thinking shows that some of you still believe that they're your friends and that they mean you some good. Some of you who think like that are expressing one of the highest levels. And I don't mean this no disrespect. I'm not talking about just his sister. I'm talking about the way she thinks. And anybody else that thinks like her. Because if we have the proper understanding and know our enemy and understand the nature of our enemy, we would teach our children that. We would know that and we would act accordingly. Thumbs up, family. We need way more of you all giving us a thumbs up, liking and sharing. On the count of 3, hit that thumbs up button. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Notice all the information I just gave you about spies, about intelligence. Notice how I told you that propaganda is an element of war, and that how propaganda is lies, but sometimes propaganda is the truth that can be manipulated. Information that could actually be true. Propaganda is sometimes information that's actually true, but that is information that can be manipulated to influence public opinion. How many of you all know? Proof that propaganda works is the fact that that sister, Ahmaud's own mother, said in an interview on The View the other day, the fact that she said that because it was the police, she didn't have any reason to disbelieve them. That's proof that the propaganda for white supremacy is working on black folk. Did you all hear what I just said? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please hit that notification bell. Shout out to you, Michael, for your gift. There's no two ways about it. And we don't waste time talking about the details that our open enemy highlights. Because whatever they highlight, they want us to talk about what they highlight to misdirect us and to provide a basis for dismissal or acquittal if this happens to move forward. Did you guys hear what I just said? Did you all hear what I just said? When white mainstream media starts to say, well, look, he was inside the house. Look at the cameras. That's the reason why they thought he was in there. And then black folks start to say, well, look, what was he doing in that house? You start to spend time talking about, well, no, he shouldn't have been in the house. You're taking the bait of a warfare strategy and tactic to misdirect. And one of the most effective ways that they advance is when we start to say, well, yeah, what was he doing in the house? We will not do that. For the same reason, if you take a family member into the hospital and they end up needing because of their leg and their leg needs to be amputated. Something happened, and in the past hour, the doctor said they're going to have drastic surgery. They're going to have to remove the leg. You're not going to go up in there talking about they had a paper cut earlier in the day. Somebody talk black to me. You're going to stay focused on what's the most important thing there so that you don't give place to the devil. How many of you all know there's a scripture that says don't give any place to the devil? You got to understand that the words, the order of words, and what we choose to say and do and highlight can give place to the enemy. Keeping in mind that even if they truly believed that he was a burglary suspect, and we know that they didn't, the owner said he didn't have any problem with it. The owner said as we know now, white folk did it all the time. No felony was committed. And even with that going on, that would still not be an appropriate basis or impetus that would cause them to surround this man. And for some of you bootlick butter biscuit sambos that would say he should have listened to them, they're not law enforcement. And many of us have problems with law enforcement listening to those lying devils, many of them. Shout out to you, Aaron, for your gift. And the only reason we continue to fall prey is because we don't really see them as our open enemy. We do not really see that we're on a battlefield and we're behind enemy lines. We don't even understand that we took the bait of that intelligence, of that information. And because we start to emphasize certain things at a time that perhaps we shouldn't, helps to detract from the greatest sin, the greatest criminal act of all. Y'all hear me today? Listen, listen. As you keep giving us a thumbs up, liking, and sharing. Again, don't forget to check out flynubianbusiness.com. Also, I'm still conducting, a couple of more weeks left, my amazing private VIP mastermind class. Rock bottom price, clubvicky.com, clubvicky.com. How many of you all know that this is a good time for Black folk to reinvent ourselves? This is a good time for us to go into the secret place. This is a good time for us to be silent and to strategize, because we can come out and parlay this COVID-19 situation, and we can be the better for it. Some of us that are forced not to go in to work, this might force you to start your own business or to get you another side hustle that's bringing you some money to where you don't have to rely 100% on your open enemy, so that you can be free to do the business of the business of Black folk. You can work on efforts to ensure that we experience freedom, justice, and equality. Are y'all hearing me today? I want to share these couple of principles with you right now, and I'll be finished. Any ugliness in our own people, don't forget, we're intentionally and deliberately entrapped by our enemy. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about that today too. He said, you're at the bottom of everything, Black family. And why we're at the bottom is because of white folks, right? He said the money that we're supposed to do this, and the third. He says because we don't have it because they stole it. Listen. So because we're dealing with that for nearly 500 years, we're waking up to it so that we can strategize and take our power. Not wait for somebody to give it to us, but we're taking our power. We're exercising our God-given power. Shout out to you, Candy, for your gift. Don't forget that when we start saying, oh, so-and-so had a record, don't you know that your open enemy intentionally causes you to have a record and stigmatize that so that you can be discredited? How many shows have I done? Do you all remember the show that I did? And I refer to it all the time, about Daniel Hawksclaw, the white Asian police officer in Oklahoma, who was accused of literally raping and sexually assaulting only Black women. One of the things that they said that he did, he strategically and intentionally targeted Black women. He said, number one, because they're least likely to be believed. And he especially wanted them if they had any kind of brush with the law, any kind of record, because he knew that they would be less likely to believe. And isn't that what we do? We, like our open enemy, start to refer to the background or the history of somebody. When does any of that matter? When everything that they did was totally wrong. It's just like in the situation with Quintez Cephas. Look him up. I did a show on him as well. Dr. Boyce did a show on him a long time ago as well. Quintez Cephas. I think it was a Wisconsin football player. How many of you all know he was falsely accused by a white girl, ended up forcing him out of football, out of the university for a time? How many of you all remember hearing about that? That was with a couple of white girls, I believe, in his case. A couple of white girls claimed that he raped them. How many of you all know that they like to talk about black men's backgrounds and stuff, where he shouldn't have been there, what he was doing, how led him in the first place? He shouldn't have been in another situation with another brother. They said that he was drinking and stuff. Where they say he shouldn't have been drinking. He shouldn't have been buzzed. That's true. But even with all of that, does that mean that we're not going to talk about the injustice of what the white girl is doing? Does that mean that we're going to sit there and say, hey, let the system have their way with him because he had no business doing that little bit in the first place? I'm disgusted at some of you brothers who love to elevate the Beckys, who continue to get you locked up and murdered and take your wealth while you dish your own sister. Shout out to you, Tylene. She put the link in the chat on Quintet Cephas. In the same way that it's problematic, some of those other miscellaneous things that the brother may or may not have done, that's not the point. We stay focused on the biggest issue. And we keep the main thing. Why? We stay on code, like Dr. Claude talked about having a code of conduct. Why? Because that is in and of itself a warfare strategy. The liar will misdirect you. And when you participate in the words of the propagandist, when you participate in the word of an enemy combatant, you get played. They get you to act in a way that's against yourself. We don't excuse the ugliness of our people. We expose it to let you know it's inappropriate and how it's anti-Black and it's working against our progress. But we'd never relieve our open enemy of their workings against us. I wanted to discuss this today and when I mentioned one of the things that inspired my show today was when I heard Ahmaud Arbery's mother say, when the police told her that he was murdered because of a burglary. So he was not just shot, not injured, but killed, murdered. She said she had no reason to disbelieve them because they were the police. I'm here to expose that kind of stuff and to say, family, that's very dangerous. You are dangerous to your own people when you automatically take the word of your open enemy. And when you take, as I said earlier, when you take too long to get to the right conclusions, you put us all at risk. See, you taking a long time to recognize that's your enemy. When you take too long to realize that that's your enemy, many of you are already dead by that time. Lord have mercy. Did y'all hear what I said? By the time you conclude, oh, this was my enemy, a lot of damage has already been done by that time. What your open enemy knows with their agencies of intelligence, they're intelligent enough to know that you're not. God today. Did you hear what I said? It's not so much that they are so smart, but they are smart enough. They are, and this is sad to say, but that's why we're here, to make you intelligent as best as we can. I'm not the smartest of them all. Such as I have, I give. What little bit that I feel that I offer to the world, or I can offer to my family, such as I have, I give. I'm a forever student. I'm forever growing and learning from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's, from the Dr. Claude Anderson's, from even, yes, my sister that you heard me quote from extensively and discuss on many occasions. Dr. Francis Cresswellsing. I posted earlier today on my Instagram page. Again, follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard, about our sister, soldier, scholar, warrior, Ida B. Wells. She owned her own publishing company. Somebody say Black media. She was an extraordinary and pivotal Black media, female Black media figure. She was an investigatory journalist at the height of lynchings. White supremacists couldn't stand her. They put a bounty on her head. She had to flee for a time. She had to move, but the sister kept doing it. She went to the deep south. She went to wherever the lynchings were. She went to those specific places and started to investigate. And that's how she started to get a bounty on her head in the first place, because they wanted to know who this negress was going there getting information. And whatever information she got, she published it. And she humiliated the white woman. Especially she embarrassed the white woman, because she talked about the fact that in many of the cases where brothers were getting lynched, they were getting lynched because of the false notion of a white woman's honor. She was breaking down the fact that many of the white women that were claiming that they were assaulted, they were just slutty, they were hoary, they were wanting to get down with the brother. And she printed that in the most elegant terms. Somebody say shout out to Black media. Somebody say shout out to Black media. See, Ida B. Wells was not worried about getting a position at the White House. Her goal was for her people. Did you all hear what I just said? These individuals give us intelligence. They give us insight so that we will have what? Foreknowledge. Foreknowledge is what you have to have in warfare if you're going to always have the advantage. But see, your open enemy know, white folks especially know, that Black folks are going to take their word more than their own. They know that Black folks are going to be divided. They're going to be saying, well, these are good white folks. They know that we're going to be divided at the times where we need to be what? Unified. They're intelligent enough to know that you're not. Not that you're dumb or stupid. They know that you are not intelligent enough to know to have a code of conduct and to be on code, like who? Dr. Claude Anderson teaches us, and many others. It's not an overstatement to say to you, always question the word of your open enemy. What does the scripture say? They're not just a liar. They're the father of lies. Thoroughly, they are a walking, moving lie. The essence, their DNA, every cell in their body is made up of lie. They're made up of a material called lie. So when they breathe, they're expiring lie. When they have their eyes are lie eyes. Somebody talk Black to me. Shout out to you, Alex, for your gift. When they wave, that's a lie wave. Lord have mercy, y'all play too much. When they have indigestion, it's lie indigestion. When they take a bath, it's a lie bath. Somebody talk Black to me. When they are at work, when they're typing you an email, it's a lie email. When they drive in a car, their driving is a lie. Somebody talk Black to me. When they parking it, when they wash their car, the washing of the car is called the lie wash. When they buy tissue, toilet paper, bleach, it's lie bleach, lie toilet paper. When they hug, it's a lie hug. When you acknowledge and when you truly believe that we're at war, you would know that these were not two suspected killers that said they believed that he was a burglar? You know, they're enemy combatants that just put out some propaganda, and we're not taking it. We're not falling for it. Somebody told Black to me. Let me get ready to get out of here. I was going to talk briefly on some other things, but I better get ready to go right now. But just to remember, family, in numbers, in money, in firepower, yes, it does seem that your open enemy can overwhelm us and dominate us. But can I tell you something? You know what Malcolm X said a long time ago? He said, we're not outnumbered. He said, we're outorganized. God, today, thumbs up, like and share. Did y'all hear what I just said? Again, my name is Vicky Dillard. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Vicky X Dillard. Vicky X Dillard on Instagram, and follow me on Twitter at Dillard Vicky, my last name first. Dillard Vicky on Twitter and Vicky X Dillard on Instagram. Also, make sure you subscribe to my personal YouTube page. I'm putting more and more content up as I'm feeling better. And as I have a little energy, I'll put up a video. Follow me on my personal YouTube channel. Subscribe to me on my personal YouTube channel at vickydillard.tv. Vickydillard.tv. The link is in the chat. Thank you all for your amazing support. You know who you are. Kim, you are one of them. Kim, I love you. If you're listening, you know the secret blessing I'm giving you now. You know why I'm saying it, my dear sister. Watch this. I want you to think about something. I want you to think about something. And I wrote this down because when I was doing a little bit of research, military research, I found that the United States of America, the number of soldiers that we have, we don't have the biggest army, the biggest military. Did you all know that? In terms of sheer numbers. In terms of sheer numbers, we don't have the largest in terms of bodies and literal soldiers. Did you all know that? We don't have the largest military in the whole wide world in that sense, in terms of individuals. But they claim that what makes America's army so quote unquote superior is the fact that they're better trained and that they're better equipped. Black family, I want us to take some principles from this. Because when I'm talking about warfare, I'm not talking about just physical defense. What am I talking about? What did I say? The media. I'm talking about our music. I'm talking about in terms of our education. There's a war against us there. I'm talking about our food. I'm talking about our neighborhoods. I'm talking about there's culture wars. Right? Watch this. Listen. I love you back, Tropical Punch. Listen. What makes America the army that's feared amongst so many is not because we have literally more bodies, more physical soldiers, but it's because they're trained well and how they're equipped. And a few things that I found in terms of equipment, and I want you to know I actually wrote down those 5 things that I found that made America a formidable force, a feared military, is because of, listen to these weapons, her drones, stealth, precision guided weapons, atomic bombs, and things like the Gatling. Have y'all heard about that before? It's about how they've enhanced technology. Now, if we talk about, for example, stealth technology, like stealth aircraft, some of the things that I noticed about that in my research is that the stealth aircraft is designed to avoid detection using a varieties of technology that reduce, watch this, reflection, emission of radar, infrared, visible light, radio frequency, spectrum, and audio. So it's the ability to work secretly and by stealth that gave America an advantage. Black family. What areas? Those 9 areas of people activity that I talked about in yesterday's show. If you missed yesterday's show, I gave you 9 areas of people activity. Moderators, one of my moderators, please put in the link of the chief moderator, my chief moderator dual. I'm sure she'll do it shortly. The link to yesterday's chat, you'll see where I gave you the specific 9 areas of people activity. And what are those areas in your own life, in your own career, in your specific sphere of influence? What areas can you work undercover in a positive way for your people? The atomic bomb. America, we got to tell the truth. America has a reputation for being a wholesale killer. How many of you all remember the atomic bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki? How many of you all know, yes, what the Japanese ended up having to deal with? But how many of you all know that America came up with the atomic bomb through the mind of scientists? And that one weapon did what? Took out a whole slew of people. And the atomic bomb did so much damage, it didn't just take away lives, but those that managed to live, my understanding is the effects is still in their body, it's still in their cells, and they're still dealing with certain diseases that perhaps were even passed on. But not just that. The atomic bomb, my understanding, these atomic bombs, a couple of different ones, because again, Hiroshima, then Nagasaki, was so potent and so deadly that even when some of it got into the ground, into the earth of those areas, didn't it affect the produce? Didn't it affect the farming and stuff? Did y'all hear me? Did it affect the food and the quality of their environment and their lifestyle? That one weapon, it wasn't because they were out. It wasn't because they had a whole bunch of way more soldiers only. Are y'all hearing me? How about the drones? How many of y'all are familiar with drones? I was taking notes about drones. What is a drone? A drone is a what? An unmanned aircraft. It's an aircraft that's remote. It's without pilots. Black family, think about in your own life, what can you do from a distance that can strike a blow at white supremacy on behalf of your people? I'm not talking about just mere physical weapons. What idea? What invention? What thing can you do at a distance? Precision guided weapons. Precision guided weapons are weapons that hit targets precisely. Back in the day, they said that they used to use a whole bunch of firepower, huge volumes of firepower without hitting anything. But now that they've got these precision guided weapons, they're laser guided weapons that hit the target, and they don't waste a whole bunch of what? Ammunition or time. Marvin says smart bombs. That's right. And then when I was reading about the Gatling, I didn't even know nothing about that. Somebody in my family told me that they heard of it before. But this is a rapid fire weapon, apparently. Multiple barrels, sustained fire. I guess now, these machine gun types, they can get a whole lot done in rapid fire, right? I want you to be thinking, what principles can you take from these actual physical weapons and understand that you, Black family, you, Black man, you, Black woman, you, Black child, do you know that you are the weapon? You are the technology. I'm going to say that again. Don't you know that you are the weapon? You are the technology. It's not that we're outnumbered. It's just that we're out organized. And that is the reason why your sanctified Black brain, the big Black brain, is the greatest weapon of them all. There's so many examples of things that we can do with a little bit. Even the fact that we're using alternative means to broadcast to our people. It seemed like not much of anything. But now they're finding out the majority of people are getting their news from social media. They're finding that the subscribers and that our viewership and those that we reach on a regular basis, because my show, praise God, And because of the connections and affiliates and the associates that I'm connected to, is replayed in other places. With Dr. Boyce at the helm of it, he says we're reaching about 1 million people a week. Don't you know that a lot of your cable news shows, we're rivaling them as it relates to that? Don't you know that's the reason why you see a lot of the major networks, they have YouTube channels now? They're trying to really take advantage of social media. Are y'all hearing me today? Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. And when I say he, I'm talking about he and she, the spirit of the God that made both the man and the woman. Your life, your assignment may not look like everybody else's. My particular assignment won't look like yours. But if I'm working toward the liberation, the freedom, the justice, and the equality of my people, and we all have that same goal in whatever occupation we have, whatever our spheres of influence, whatever our gifts and our talents and our resources are, then baby, we're going to strike a mighty blow. Love you all. I got to go. Again, connect with me at clubvicky.com, clubvicky.com. That is the website for I got a couple more live private VIP masterminds to go, and it's been absolutely amazing. Clubvicky.com, rock bottom price. Reach out to us at flynubianbusiness.com, as well as our store, shopfnq.com. I came to you in peace. I leave you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Your Black World. Connect.